Okay.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
In a world where two siblings create epic productions of monumental proportions.
Wait, what is this, Hollywood? No, this is Hillywood.
Oh, sorry. Please welcome the creators of The Hillywood Show and your hosts, Hilly and Hannah Hindi, as they discuss Hillywood and beyond. This is Beyond Hillywood.
Oh, we're speeding?
Yep.
Excuse-me. That's just the Dean coming through already. I'm ready. Hello, everybody.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Beyond Hillywood.
Welcome, Supernatural family. Yes, this is the episode you've been waiting for.
Whoa.
This is where we talk all about supernatural
parodies.
Yes.
1 and 2.
We decided to hash this out. I know you guys know a lot of our stories from set already, but today we want to be a little bit more transparent and really give you untold stories that not a lot of you have heard. You guys can't see us if you're listening to us. I'm sorry.
But you can, if you go onto YouTube, you can watch us.
Yes,
which
you
guys
can.
should do that.
All right. So, Hannah, I made, again, a little list off to the side for us to discuss these memories of what has happened on our supernatural journey.
All right.
Number 1, Supernatural family. You guys are thebomb.com.
Yes.
We did not know these videos were going to be so viral. We had no idea. When I came up with the concept for Supernatural parody, I had no idea it was going to get the views it was going to.
It was going to get that large, basically.
No.
It was you guys. It wasn't us. It was you guys.
And even though we, yes, we had the cameos, it was still very scary posting it online and not knowing if the fandom would receive it. So what I liked about Supernatural, I wasn't sure if the whole rest of the fandom would like. And it was scary. And fans were telling us for years, do Supernatural. Oh my
gosh,
do Supernatural.
Years, oh my God, what, 5 years? It was just Supernatural. And I remember
the show began, we were getting requests.
Hilly's like, I have no idea, so no, because she's like, if I screw that up, you can't screw that up. It's such a special fandom,
right,
that you cannot do it wrong. And what was so hard for you, I remember you said, it's just constantly changing storylines. Mm-hmm. So what do you focus on? Mm-hmm. And there's so many seasons.
There are so many seasons of so many different plot points. And unless you had a solid understanding of, yes, that's the plot point I want to parody, I was never at that place because it was so vast. And then came along the Mark of Cain storyline, which I still love to date. That's one of, I believe, the best of the seasons. I mean, I'm a big Dean fan, so whenever a storyline's towards Dean, I'm like, yes, more Dean on screen. I love me some Dean.
Hey, that's a good quote. Dean on screen.
Dean on screen. I got super excited, and I loved Dark Dean because I think Jensen does an amazing job being very aggressive and like a villain, more so. And I loved that struggle. And I don't know why Taylor Swift was playing on my playlist, and I was already considering doing a Supernatural. I just didn't know.
Weren't you at the gym?
No, I was at home for this one.
I thought that you were at the gym on the bike or something.
No, and I remember I envisioned Dean shaking his hand or tremoring with the Mark of Cain to shake it off. And I think I called you, or were you over the office?
No, I came over the office.
Okay, and I pitched Hannah the idea.
And she was like, I have an idea for Supernatural. And I was like, okay. Because I'm like, all right, great.
I always have a lot of ideas. So.
She has a lot. And so I'm like, they're never bad. But this one in particular, she like told me, and she's like, so basically, before I tell you like the story, it's going to be Supernatural and the song. So like I had no clue, like it's the Mark of Cain and it's shaking. Like she just said, the song is Shake It Off. And I was like, what? And I go, huh? Like I remember I just looked at you and she goes, no, it's going to be really good. And I was like, I do not, because it's a female voice. What is this? And she goes, no, like the lyrics will say, angel's gonna play, 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 demon's gonna hate, hate, hate. And I was like, oh, this is really fun. Where are you going with this? Yeah. I remember that.
And a lot of the number one thing is, how did we get the cast involved? And that was because of Osric and Richard. We would go into that longer, but we've either discussed that already or we'll discuss it. We don't know where this episode's going to be playing in our podcast. We'll just say that.
Let's get into like more of like memories and like fun things that possibly happened,
okay,
you know, because that will all be explained. But
so a lot of people thought we had Rob's hand when he gets it cut off. Well, number one, Rob Benedict. He did a great job as Cain. He looked so much like Timothy. For the scene where he doesn't have a hand,
and he's like, oh no.
A lot of people thought that was a prosthetic, but it was literally him keeping his hand in a fist and us painting blood on top of it.
And we kind of like told him like shove it into your sleeve a little bit. But like the way you had painted it looked really good.
It's because I put a black undertone.
And Osric,
Osric thought it was a prosthetic
like,
the whole time.
Man, that looks real good. And Rob's like just standing there with his little arm like this, waiting for the scene. He's like, wow, it looks really good, man. And Rob's like, it's just my hand. And he like pulls his hand out in a fist and he's like, whoa. That's so weird.
For Supernatural Parody, I do remember the costumes were a pain in the butt because we were really, this was when Hillywood was, I mean, it was already screen accurate, but we were taking it to the next level. And that plaid,
weeks searching for plaid.
Murder me. Those boys own so many plaid shirts and there's so many patterns and so many checkers. It took us forever, not just to find, okay, yeah, you found the plaid, but oops, you found it in a 3X. And we now have to make that 3X into a 3X small for it to fit little Dean. So it was really frustrating. And when we watch Supernatural Parody, we think the makeup and the wigs are a little rough around the edges.
Yes. And I know that a lot of the comments have been like, oh my God, the makeup, the costume. But like for us, we're like, we don't think it's that
Dean's
great.
Dean's makeup was really rough. And I remember the first day I did it, I was a little lost. I think I practiced it once.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And by the second day, it was still rough. And you can see as the progression goes, the first day is when we were in the studio doing most of the white backgrounds and everything. And as it goes, it got better. But thank God Supernatural Parody 2 came because I think the makeup looks really good in Supernatural Parody 2.
Way better.
But Supernatural 1 was a little rough around the edges. And also, maybe it was rough around the edges because I got 0 to no sleep. Because Dean's application took 6 hours. And people don't understand, why did it take 6 hours? Well, number one, I had no idea what I was doing with Dean at the time. That was when I was really getting more into the makeup.
We've learned over the years.
But with every other character I've played, from Jack to Sam to Rick Grimes to Doctor Who, I always have had something to hide under. Either the hair covers a part of the face, glasses, a beard, something. And Jensen Ackles has like a naked face with a little bit of stubble. So I just remember staring at myself in the mirror going, find Jensen. Because it took me so long. You have to find the resemblance in your own face to then shade it properly for Dean. And that took me a while to find because, yeah, you can just throw it on, but then it's too thick. The camera's in 4K. Then you look like you look like the Mona Lisa.
Like you're painted.
You have too much paint on your face.
The Mona Lisa.
And it took me 6 hours. So I would get up at like 3 a.m, apply my makeup to get on set by like 9.
Mm-hmm.
We would then shoot till like 12 to even.
We would shoot long hours.
We would shoot to 12 to 1 a.m. So then Hilly would get home and I'd have to take everything off, reset, clean the wig, do everything. And that would take like almost 2 hours. So I was only getting an hour sleep every night. So Supernatural Parody is a big, big, big black blur. And I just remember Osric going, are you okay, Hilly? You look really tired. How much sleep did you get tonight? And at least he looked after me. I think he was the only one who realized.
At least he's the positive.
Well, I think
we were all tired.
He could see me zoning out in between shots. And he's like, are you okay, Hilly? I was like, yes, I'm fine. The Impala was a big, big exciting moment that we got Impala.
We got an Impala. Mm-hmm.
Whose Impala was it, Hannah?
Eric,
we love you, Eric. Shout out to Eric.
Yeah, Eric. And I think I don't remember how we contacted him, but we reached out to him again. And it was one of those things like, can we borrow the car? And he lived in California and drove it all the way up to Oregon.
Mm-hmm. And that car, a lot of people ask me, how does it drive? It drives like a dream. I want to say it feels like a boat.
Yeah.
Because you're not used to the steering and it's a very wide load. But she drives great, and it's weird, I'm a little strange on this. I love the smell of gasoline, like old school car gasoline. I don't know why, and I don't know, because like growing up, I don't know if my dad had anything. I don't know what that is, but
You're just an old soul.
Maybe I owned an old car back in the day, and that's why I only listen to rock and roll music, classic rock. When I was rewatching it, the scenes that I really enjoyed, that I think that's why fans like it so much and why it became so iconic, was all the Taylor Swift recreations.
Yes.
Like
oh my gosh, that took forever to break down. Do you remember when we had to break it down?
Yeah.
We had to like pause and like look at the angle and oh my gosh, I think it was like 130 shots just in all those little snips.
One of my favorites that we altered was how the first blade had a ribbon on it. Oh. And I'm not sure if our viewers or listeners really knew what that meant or symbolized. There's a lot of Easter eggs throughout Hillywood productions, but the red ribbon was to symbolize the blood from the first blade, and I just think that's so like hella cool. I don't know why. I'm a huge fan of metaphors.
It's creative. Yeah. It's creative because a ribbon and
all the
attach
it's
it
like
on.
The blood. It's just, I don't know. I just really like that. And then we got the cameos, and that's when we first met the cast.
Yes.
And half of them were just doing it because they had heard from Richard, like, hey, there's these girls, they're doing this video if you have time.
They're just in a room off to the side if you have any time.
And Creation Entertainment provided us with the room, which was really awesome. They allowed us to go in there and have our little camera set up so that if we got cameos, people could come in.
And we were told they may not have the time. And basically what had started happening was as they were together, Richard had shared the word, but then it was like, for example, Tim Amundsen had heard, oh, I did this thing. These girls are creating these amazing productions, but basically they're doing it for fans. This is for fans, and this is what they do. Well, what did you do? Well, I did this. Well, I'm going to go do this. So they were trying to one-up each other, which made it even more fun because they would want to watch the footage. And they're like, you've only got 30 seconds with each person. That was the limit we had because they had to get back to work. But then they would stand and ask Shun, who's here today, can I review? What did he do? What did she do? And we were like, we have 30 seconds. Please go film your thing.
And Matt Cohen was one of the ones that made an impression because we said, just go have fun, dance for the fans, whatever you think the fans would like to see from you. Because we wanted it to be personal from them. This is their moment for the fans. This was their surprise. And he looked at us and he goes, well, fans like to see me with my shirt off. And we went, okay. And the next thing we know,
whatever you want to do.
Matt's just stripping off his clothes.
He's like, so I'm going to go down. And then after that, I'm going to take my shirt off and I'm going to come up. And we were like, okay,
and
great.
I do remember every time an actor came in, we would be so excited. And the whole time we were in the room, we were afraid to even go to the bathroom. God forbid a star would come in while we were going pee. So we held our pee as long as we could.
And we one time took the chance and I said, I have to go to the bathroom. And you're like, okay, just hurry. I walked out, got a text. They're like, Misha's coming.
Yes.
And I was like, I took off so fast that suddenly I didn't have to pee anymore.
And everybody was so nice. And we were just so thankful to God because it just felt like, okay, Lord, whoever you're going to provide is a miracle. And before we knew it, it was like 2 people, 3 people, 8 people, 9 people. And we just kept praying, like, thank you, whoever else, just allow them to come in. Because we weren't running around the convention. I think people thought we went running around asking people and we had the inside. We didn't. We sat in that room by ourselves and let fate take over. And big shout out, honestly, to God, because we believe that's the only reason it happened. So we met Jared and Jensen. They came in. They were massive and tall compared to us little babies. The first thing Jensen said was, oh my God, I love your work. And I still don't know, how did he watch the show?
Right. We were like,
you know us?
I think it was Richard who showed an example of what we do so that it was like, oh, this is what they do.
So before I jump into Supernatural Parody 2, I thought of a memory that I think you forgot when we were shooting the Eye of the Tiger scene in Oregon.
Oh no, I know what you're going.
A fan was coming out of the grocery store and she started taking pictures. Now this was before we were even known in the supernatural universe.
But we were somewhat known.
But not in supernatural. Not known outside of the Hillywood fans.
No, right.
So she was taking pictures and we Osric, Drew, they all ran over to her and they're like, hey, or what's going on? I what's your name? And she's like, oh, this is my name. I'm a huge fan of you guys. I heard you're doing supernatural. I didn't think you'd be doing it in a little town in Oregon. She was super sweet and we were like, hey, just do us a favor. Just don't share those photos because this is completely top secret. She had photos of me as Dean on top of the Impala doing the Eye of the Tiger. That's a huge spoiler. Come to find out, we're on Twitter maybe a week after filming. She posted the photos. I don't know if she missed the memo. I don't know if she's listening right now. If you are, I'm sorry to call you out. But that was you gave me so much anxiety, girl. I was sweating looking at those photos.
Well, that was because that would be the first time people see you as Dean.
But she tagged us at Hillywood Show filming Supernatural Parody, and no one found it. Thank you, Lord.
Thank God no one found it.
But we are super freaked out when it comes to spoilers. So switching gears to Supernatural Parody 2, that one was hard to shoot without you guys finding us and knowing everything.
We had to be so quiet on that one, especially with the fact that it was to Ghostbusters. Because that was I'm this, it's kind of like where you go, oh, of course you would do Ghostbusters. But that was the whole surprise because so many people, I bet it's this song. I bet it's that song. And I was like, no one had guessed Ghostbusters yet. And the fact that if they saw you and Osric in those jumpsuits out of town somewhere, someone's going to take a picture and be like, they're doing Ghostbusters to Supernatural.
So what did Miss Crazy Hilly do?
So she purchased black robes for her and Osric with massive hoods so that when people drove by or they would be standing somewhere, I'd say, keep your robes on and cover your heads. So that no one would know what they were.
No one would know because, especially since we had the Impala decked out as well.
Oh, yeah.
As the Ghostbuster, that was so freaked out. And I remember...
That was so freaked out.
I'm sorry, that was so freaky. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself because there's so many memories of Supernatural that just collide. It's a little bit of a sleep haze, too, because I was a little sleepy during all the shooting. But for Supernatural Parody 2, I got Dean's makeup down to 3 hours.
Yeah.
We were pulled off to the side of the road, already freaking out. Whenever someone would drive by, I would scream at Osric, and I was like, bend down, because I didn't... Okay, they take pictures of the car, but I don't want them to see us, because then it confirms Hillywood, whatever. Hopefully people won't put two and two together. We're sitting on the side of the road. This truck pulls up.
We're in Kansas.
Yes. And I bend down, and this guy is not going anywhere. He rolls down his window, and Osric's like, Hilly, you're going to have to talk to them. They're right there looking at you, bent over in the car. So I sat up in my man beard and my man cosplay.
The littlest man ever.
The littlest Jensen Ackles. And I look over at them, and he's like, are you all storm chasers?
With stuff on top of the car.
All of the stuff on the car. And I said, yes, we are. And he goes, yeah, because I see a big storm coming. And I go, we do too. And he was like, well, be careful, all right? And I was like, all right. And he drove up, and Osric was dying.
Oh my gosh. Because there was a storm brewing at that time. We were told by a police officer that lived there, because he came and pulled over, and every time a cop shows up, you always get nervous. You're like, oh, what did I do? And we're like, we have the rights to be here. What do we do wrong? And he's just like, hey, I'm just letting you know there's a twister coming. And but when he told us that, the sky was blue, for miles. You could do a 360. I was like,
there's no clouds.
Okay. He's like, yeah, it's coming. It'll change real fast. So when it comes here, y'all better get out of here because it can happen real fast. Dangerous. And we were like, okay, there's nothing here. I remember I was like, there's literally nothing here.
You're like, haha, Noah. Go away, Noah.
Oh, Noah, where's your boat? But then I think it was maybe about an hour later, there was massive clouds, and they had moved over very quickly. And we did start seeing them spin overhead at a point.
We did.
We had wrapped filming. I had said cut, and the moment I said cut on something, the raindrops started to fall. And we were like, oh, snap.
I do, with my memories for Supernatural Parody 2 specifically, I feel a lot of pain.
Okay.
And that's and that's because of the 40-pound proton backpack.
Yes.
That me and Osric had to lug around for at least 14 days.
Yes, this is true.
It was 40 pounds. I cannot stress it enough. It was so heavy that when Jared and Jensen, the two men made out of titanium, put them on, Jensen and Jared both were like, oof, these are heavy. And in the behind the scenes, you see a little discomfort in their faces. Can you imagine that burden on me and Osric, who are half their size? Dude, I can't explain it enough. Because they were made of like, I think they were like metal.
There was metal
Frame with fiberglass. And then we would put, the thing I love the most about them, though, is the whole concept of their proton packs was that it was supposed to look like the inside of the Impala.
Right.
So we had so many Easter eggs on their backpacks. We had the Sam and Dean initials on the backpacks. We also had on Dean's, I think I had a Lego and an Army Man. We had Angel Blade. We had Ruby's knife. We had the Colt. There is so much
ninja
detail
throwing darts
in those proton packs. They were beautiful, and we called them the hero packs because they were the heavy-duty ones. We also had stunt packs, which were awesome. An awesome guy came in and was like, yeah, I can basically replicate it.
More lightweight.
Yeah.
But
those were only for
running
because we realized on a 4K camera, you can see the difference. So we decided to try to use those proton packs as much as possible. We had to travel across country from Las Vegas to Kansas with not only camera equipment and a dolly system, but
props
and costumes, but 2 massive suitcases with those massive proton packs in there. How much did it cost to ship one of those boxes?
I think it was $200 per pack.
One
way.
One way. Woo!
So, yeah, the Hillywood show is not cheap, okay? That's why we ask for help. But, yeah, they were so expensive.
I think my spine is still crooked from those pads.
Right, and we even put, like, shoulder pads and tried to pad those, like the, what are they called? The backpack straps.
But we would film so much that the pad would slide out and, like, it would be in my pants.
Yeah, because you would put it under the costume. That's right. To, like, give you more padding. Yeah. And all of a sudden, she's like, the pad is in my leg. And I was like, what? And she's like, it, like, slid from my shoulders all the way through the jumpsuit to my leg of my pants.
The costumes were super comfortable, though. Those jumpsuits were awesome. All right.
Yes.
So let's talk about the moment that everyone's been waiting for. How was it shooting with so many different cast members? Scheduling.
Holy smokes. I think it was the hardest thing for me to do because I do the organization.
Yeah, Hannah's the organization.
Luckily, everyone's days lined up, but it was literally like we had to time it out perfectly. Richard needed to shoot from 10 to 11 to get him out to reset the scene, to shoot Alex from 11:30 to 12 noon because then he had to catch his flight back because
Ruthie
then
was coming
John
in,
has to pick up Jim Beaver, which we need to talk about. And then on top of that, she needs to shoot. Like, it was so... I have a hair on my hand. Sorry. It was so organized and it was so tight that everything had to go perfectly.
Yeah.
If something went wrong, it wouldn't have worked out.
Our driver had some funny stories. Our driver went to go pick up Jim Beaver and he was in a black SUV and he saw Jim because we gave him a picture. We go, that's Jim Beaver. And he went to go pick him up and he saw him at the airport pillar where he was standing and he rolled down the window. He goes, "Excuse me, are you Jim Beaver?" And I think Jim didn't think that was our driver. And Jim goes, "No." And so our driver kept driving around and he was calling us. He's like, "I swear that was him."
And then I got a text from Jim and he's like, "Where's the driver? I've been standing here for 10 minutes." And I was like, "He's there. He's in a black SUV. His name is John." And then he's like, "Oh, I found him." Come to find out later, he didn't say anything about it, but I think he thought John was just some random fan that was like, "Are you Jim Beaver?"
Yeah.
We're like, "Oh my God, that was your
and
ride."
We heard rumor from our driver too when that scene where we have the Impala and there's a ton of cast members in the Impala with Chad and Adam and Samantha
and Lauren.
Everybody's in there.
And Tomo.
And Tyler. Everybody's in there. Oh my God, Tomo! Number one, there was no AC in that scene, so it was really hot. But when they got picked up from the airport, I guess one after another, they kept getting in the SUV. And as our driver was listening, they said, How did the girls do this? Like, half of us didn't even know you were going to be here. And the other people were like, I didn't know you were going to be here. And
we told them all to keep it totally hush-hush. so no one knew who was coming. And then they were like, but first, how did they get us all together at the same time?
Yeah, how's this happening? And all of them were so awesome to work with. They were completely cool with
anything that we wanted them to do. They just believed us. Yeah.
We didn't send them scripts for this one at all because there was no talking lines. We just put them in the scene, told them what they were going to do. I think the only ones who had scripts were the Angels for the Angel radio sequence that I love. Rob had a script and Alex had a script and Misha and
Misha. There was a couple. Curtis.
No, that's what I meant. The Angel radio sequence. Yeah. I love that. To me, that's so creative because it's like all the celestial beings are the ones on Angel Radio that Castiel talks about. See, there's a lot of Easter eggs. Okay, let's talk about Jensen and Jared and how it was filming with Jensen and Jared. Oh my gosh, you guys. We tried to act cool and collected, but we were so nervous.
So nervous.
Because we are not the CW. We are not a Hollywood film production. This is Hillywood. And the last time they worked with us was just in a little room with a background.
This was a huge deal that they would come out of their way to be more involved and actually be on our set, trusting us, taking direction from us.
We texted Cliff. The first thing we did before we even said we're going to do Supernatural Parody 2, we decided if the boys do not want to be a part of this production, we don't want to go through with Supernatural Parody 2 because we already knew how we wanted it to end.
Right.
And we just felt like that would be confirmation from God whether or not to do this next endeavor, another Supernatural.
Right.
So we texted Cliff. We pitched the idea. Hey, would the boys like to do this? It would end with them.
Here's the idea.
Really, really, really vague. He texted saying, let me ask the guys. Cliff's awesome. By the way, Cliff, we love you.
We love you, Cliff.
You've been the best. He texted back, I think, 2 days later, and he said, Jensen says, hell yeah. We freaked out. That made us so excited. Then we figured out, okay, how do we get them here? Do we go there? There was a lot of back and forth. It was Cliff who suggested we'll come out a day early. We'll shoot this when we do the Vegas combo. We'll come out early for this or something like that. I don't really remember. And it worked out great. They came in and our whole crew was like prepped, like everybody, they're coming in. Please, like, let's be as fast and professional as possible.
We had blocked the day before as much as we could.
Yeah.
And when they came in, I said, please, everyone, like, I had to tell the crew, basically, that we need to shoot it as quickly as possible because we had, I think it was, he had said we had 2 hours. They gave us 2 hours, which we're like, well, they'll get done earlier, probably, but that was for emergencies. Then I got a text as they were on the way that something had come up and he goes, you have 45 minutes.
Yes.
Lickety split, he said.
Lickety split, he said.
I was like, oh my God, like nothing can go wrong, basically. And it was an amazing experience.
We'll finish that. That will be the last thing we talk about.
Shooting with them?
Shooting with Jensen and Jared. But right now we are actually going to the phone lines because we are giving our Patreons the chance to call in and talk to us.
All right, let's talk.
So we are so excited to get the fans involved. Okay, Supernatural family. All right, are you there, caller? Are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you?
I'm good.
We're good. Who is this?
This is Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
How are you?
We're good. Today on our podcast, we are talking all about our Supernatural parodies and those wonderful endeavors and memories. Do you have a question about the making of one of the productions?
Well, it was a question more about working with the actors from the show.
Right. Go for it.
They all seem so down to earth and easy to work with. Was that really the case?
Yes, ma'am. They are so genuine, so amazing. Everything you see in the behind the scenes is 100% real, so kind and so loving, and we owe them the world.
Well, I really do enjoy your parodies. They are so awesome and so funny. And I'm so glad that you're able to get actors from the show to participate because I think it makes them really better.
Right, exactly. I mean, we were thrilled, and that Supernatural fandom is just so special because I don't think you will really find that anywhere else.
The cast has been the most down-to-earth cast we've ever met, ever.
Which is bizarre, and I think they have that knowledge to understand. Without the fans, we wouldn't be here, basically. So it's all for you guys. We made the production to make you guys happy, and we were thrilled that they were a part of it, and then they wanted to bring that just to the top with a cherry on top for you guys. So absolutely real. We love them. And thank you for calling, Debbie.
Thank you so much for calling, Debbie.
You guys take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Aww.
She's so sweet.
That was so sweet of Debbie to call. Thank you so much, Debbie, to call. And if you would like the opportunity to ever talk to us during our podcast, just join patreon.com/Hillywood. And you can get access to the number, and you can call us during one of our recordings. I think we have another call right now, actually.
I think we do.
Caller, you're on the air with Beyond Hillywood. It's Hilly and Hannah. Hi, what's your question?
Hi, Hilly and Hannah. It's Abby. I was wondering, what was the most funny scene to film out of both Supernatural parodies?
Oh, the most funny? Hi, Abby, by the way. It's
Hi,
nice
Abby.
to talk to you.
Funny.
Funniest scenes. I remember laughing a lot during Supernatural parody, the first one, when Osric had to shake me. I have this trigger where if anyone jostles me or shakes me, it's ticklish to me. And I couldn't stop laughing, and I felt so unprofessional because that was like my second time working with Osric.
I know another funny moment.
What's another funny moment
was
for you?
When I was dancing in the first one, and I was dancing as Castiel, and I tried...
Is it your shoe?
I tried to make a marking with my shoe. Like, I was being really lazy. You know how you can smudge your shoe on the ground and go, okay, that's where the light goes? Well, I dragged my heel, and it, flopped back the sole of my heel. And, I looked like a quacking duck mouth, on the bottom of my shoe, like a puppet. And I, lost my shit. I was laughing so hard, I couldn't even film. We had to, shut down for, 20 minutes.
That's when I said in the behind the scenes, Cass is too holy for his shoes.
Yeah, I'm too holy for my shoes. So that was a really funny moment.
That is awesome. That's hilarious.
It's in the behind the scenes somewhere.
Thank you so much, Abby, for calling in. It's really good hearing from you.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye, Abby.
Bye.
Bye.
So going back to filming with Jared and Jensen, they were a blast. They were so excited to get on those proton packs.
Yes.
They were, and that made me so happy because I wanted them to have that excitement. Because that's what's special about Hillywood is that you can come on and be someone else that you're never able to get the opportunity. Who can say you're a Ghostbuster unless you're in a Ghostbuster remake? It doesn't happen. So to see, especially Jared, get really excited with all those buttons made my day.
It looked like,
Do you remember, though?
What?
Oh, my God. So much for us trying to keep it spoiler-free.
Oh, my gosh.
Hannah didn't have her phone on lock. And Jared is notorious for stealing people's phones who are unlocked. And apparently, because I had to do Jared's shoes up or in his pants because he was putting on the gloves and everything.
We were trying to hurry. We were just trying to get through it. The shoelaces
they
weren't.
They were military pants where you have to put this tight elastic around your legs and then tuck your pants into themselves so they go over your boots. And I asked Jensen. Jensen goes, I got it. I understand. So Jensen was doing his, and Jared goes, can you just do mine? So I was on the floor doing his little Dean doing Big Sam's pants, and I was tucking it under, and he got really quiet. And Jared's not really quiet, he's always talking or laughing or chatting, and he got really quiet for a point. I go, I hope I'm not hurting him because the elastics were tight. So I thought maybe I'm hurting him. So I was like, is everything okay? He goes, yeah, everything's fine. And then he looks at Hannah. He goes, hey, you might want to lock your phone. And I remember I looked at him. I go, why? I go, oh no,
because I'm like, why? And then he's like, well, because you should always lock your phone. And I was like,
yeah. So
it was just that.
It was.
Oh,
everyone started laughing except for Hilly Dean. I looked like I had just witnessed a deer getting hit by a car. I was frozen. My eyes were double the size. I just remember grabbing her phone. I didn't say anything. I was walking back to the dressing room because I just needed to focus. I pull it up, and sure enough, Mr. Jared Padalecki had posted a photo on Hannah's Twitter of his face making a funny face. And I go, oh, it's just his face. Calm down, Hilly. No one knows. If you click into the photo, you see the full picture and you can see the top half of his Ghostbuster outfit.
With his name tag that said Padalecki.
Freaked out. And I was like, oh no, we're going to have spoilers. And I was trying to delete everything. I was trying to delete it so fast. And at the same time, Jensen was like, hey, Hilly, I have hat hair. Do you have any hair product? And I was like, it's in my bag. It's in my bag, Jensen. It's in my bag. Because I was so into the phone. All right, we got a caller. Hi, caller. You're on the air with Hilly and Hannah on Beyond Hillywood. What's your question?
Hi. My question was, what's your favorite memory of either of the Supernatural parodies?
Hi, what's your name, by the way?
Elise.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for calling in. So our favorite memory, huh?
I think our favorite memory, and we were just discussing it, was basically having Jared and Jensen be on our actual set and filming with them for Supernatural Parody 2. It was just a huge moment for us to have that experience. I mean, not just them, but then on top of that, there was 20 other celebrity guests that were a part of it. The whole thing felt like a dream. It was like a dream, living through like a dream, like very surreal. Like, I can't believe we're doing this.
It didn't feel real at all.
No.
And this is not protocol, you guys. This is not a normal thing for the whole entire cast to go do an independent project. It's a miracle, and I don't know how else to describe it, but that was one of our favorite memories, was filming with the cast, and another one for me was driving the Impala.
That sounds really cool.
It was. If I had an Impala, I would take you for a ride right now.
Yeah, actually, I discovered you guys because of the first Supernatural parody. I got obsessed with the show, and then I discovered the parody. I'm like, this is actually really good.
Oh, that's so cool!
Yay! Well, welcome to the Supernatural family.
Yeah.
Yay! Yeah, I binged the first 10 seasons in like a month, and then I got caught up, and yeah.
Wow, is that even possible?
Like, the rest is history.
I watched them at like 10 o'clock at night. It's like
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, it is possible, because when I was studying Dean, I binged a ton of episodes to get into character. So it is possible. Never, ever doubt the power of a fan.
Yeah.
With Netflix.
This is very true.
Yeah, Netflix is crazy.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling in. Great question.
Thanks.
Bye.
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 So, Jared posted the photo. I deleted the photo. I helped Jensen with the gel. I gave him my little gel, and he fixed his little hair.
And I remember the next thing in my mind was we had to explain to them what the first scene was.
Yep.
So we directed them how they're supposed to walk in, where they hit their marks.
So good in their costumes.
Oh, I know. But I couldn't.
Oh my God!
I couldn't take a moment to fangirl, but in my mind, I was like, "Holy smokes, they look amazing!"
The costumes
on this set.
and I had it. Oh my gosh, guys! I dirtied me and Osric's. I distressed it. It's called distressing. I distressed me and Osric's costumes, which was easy peasy. And Osric's a bit bigger than me, super easy. Distressing Jared and Jensen's costumes, they took up the length of my garage. I was had to walk back and forth 2 miles to get from the foot to the shoulder to get a little bit of dirt. But it was worth it, because once I had it on, they looked so freaking genuine. It looked like they walked off the set of Ghostbusters.
We were very excited as well, because we had to ask Cliff for measurements.
Yeah.
And that was like a nightmare, because he goes, I think he said something like, Jensen's like a medium/large. And I was like, okay, what is it? Medium or large? I don't want him to put, the problem was, okay,
their jumpsuit.
Their jumpsuit, so we don't want the bottom half to be a little uncomfortable there, okay? So we were really stressed out about that. So I remember we just took a guess, and we actually bought an extra jumpsuit, which we had to take out of the budget, because we were like, in case something's too tight, they can just swap outfits. You just put Jared in a little bit bigger and give Jensen a little bit bigger, because I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable, but we gave them what we thought.
I had to dirty
worked.
3 costumes. 3 massive, giant, ginormous costumes. But it was worth it. It was worth it. So we explained the scenario. They were totally cool.
He had done a test with the door, and then I said, well, when you kick the door, you can kick it much harder. He's like, oh, believe me, I will. And we were like, okay. And so Cliff was behind the monitor, and I remember he was watching, and I said, okay, action. And Jensen went for it.
Yes.
And like the fog flew and the light came through and here he comes, you know, like these like men. Like, and they walk through the door and then here comes Jared and he's so tall and there's the proton packs blinking and it's reflecting off the wall. And I just remember I wanted to be like, wow. Like I wanted to say something. I go, and cut? You know, and I was like, oh my God, that looked awesome.
Then we shot early February with them, and the whole rest of the shoot wasn't until April, late March, early April.
Yes, we shot the rest of it in April.
And when we were off to the side, this is when we were all going to run together in our proton packs, which I didn't think was going to happen, but I told her it's part of the vision. Could we do it? She said yes.
Well, we had to ask them. We said we have one more, and it was added for a last minute, and they said yes.
They said yes. And when I was standing off to the side, I was just making small talk with Osric, and I was like, hey, so what are you doing next Saturday? It's my birthday. What are you doing? And he was like, oh, I don't know. Like, maybe if I'm still in town. Like, we were just making small talk. And Jensen goes, wait, when's your birthday? And I go, Saturday. He goes, March 2nd. And I go, yeah. He goes, I'm March 1st. And we were like, wow. And then Osric asks Jared, he goes, when's your birthday? And Jared says, I'm July 19th. And Osric was like, I'm July 20th. So we started like laughing amongst each other. And
you're like
it
the
was
shadows.
Like the little shadow selves of the original J2. And as Hannah called us on set, she's like, okay, I need all 4 of you over here. And Jensen goes, all right, March baby's in front, July's in the back. And it was really like that. It just helps get to know them better. The more conversation you have, we owe them so much. The whole cast we owe. And we just appreciate their love and support for all the adventures
and all the open doors that they've opened for us, because that has opened a lot more doors for people to pay attention to what we do and say, oh, well, if they did it, I guess I could be a part of it too.
Let's not forget Misha and his amazing performance as the secretary.
Oh, he was so good.
He did so good. He did every little movement you gave him to do and the voice tone, he did so good, and he kept studying her.
And he studied.
We were so thrilled that he knew it by heart, and he already had the character dialed in, and he looked so cute with his little glasses and his pencil and the outfits, and we got him done, I think, in 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's because he nailed it.
Yeah.
Basically.
So amazing. So with that, I mean, I think that wraps up our supernatural endeavors.
Supernatural memories. I'm sure there's more.
I'm sure there's more that we're missing out.
If we ever do,
we could talk about this for another 2 hours.
We could always do another episode. But thank you so much to, the Supernatural cast and to the Supernatural family for just everything you've done for the Hillywood show. It means the world to us, and we wouldn't be where we are without all of you.
Nothing without our fans.
Without all of you sharing the video and posting it and just supporting us, basically. I mean, even for those who join Patreon, Hillywood cannot continue without you, so thank you. And buying little merchandise, like when we come out with merch every parody. Yeah. Like right now we have on, if you're watching, we have on some of our little Supernatural beanies to celebrate. So thank you for supporting us.
And we have our little plaid shirts on, and all that's available at Shop Hillywood. We don't have that many left in our plaids, though. I don't know if we're going to restock, because, it's been a couple years. It's,
you move on.
Life moves on. And then for those who are wondering, and I know some of the comments will happen on YouTube, are you ever going to do Supernatural 3? Right now, I feel like I'm in the position where it would have to be a really creative inspiration,
right,
or something that really pushes me to want to do it, because I don't want to be, in a sense, like those companies that just make sequels upon sequels upon sequels, and by the time you're on the 4th sequel, they really suck. I don't want to lose that integrity to Supernatural just because it's popular. And just because the Supernatural family will be there. Like,
the door is never...
I will never, just so you guys know, rest assured, I will never take advantage of the fandom to say, I'm just going to make another one just so I get more views. Like, right now, I'm really happy with how Supernatural Parody 2 ended. I feel like it's for me, like, okay, I'm good. I don't think it leaves the cliffhanger. It's ended. It was a homage. Now, unless God gives me an idea to go, hey, here's something wild and crazy for another 3.
Right.
You know,
the door is never closed, but for right now, it's softly closed.
It's softly closed for right now because I don't ever want to leave, you know, that legacy of what we've done to
or not only that, but
I want views. Like, that would be horrible and so selfish.
And we don't want you guys comparing. We want you just to enjoy the work.
And I want you guys to trust us in our decisions, to know that we will never, like I said, we will never just do it for the views. No. We will do it from the heart. And you never know. Maybe we'll get that Impala back on the road.
It'd be nice to see her again.
Yeah, and with Supernatural ending, this is such like a sad little, it's bittersweet. But I'm so excited for the boys. I'm so excited for J2. I know that they'll go far. And I'm so proud that they've, been so genuine with their fans and so hardworking, you guys. Those guys work so freaking hard. So I am more than happy for them. And yes, it's sad, but let's all just give them love and encourage them. Because it hurts them to see such disappointment. Try to give them more happy vibes, because this is an accomplishment for them. This is not like a bad thing for them.
Right.
This is
it's an accomplishment, and something new will begin after this.
And we'll always have Supernatural to watch, and maybe someday a Supernatural movie. You never know. All right, guys, we love you. Keep being awesome. Keep shaking it off. And who are you going to call?
Winchester's is on the back of my plate.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.
Is this the end of Hillywood? Will Hilly and Hannah survive? Tune in next time to hear another episode of...
You're doing it again.
Oh, sorry. Beyond Hillywood is listener supported. Join patreon.com/Hillywood to contribute to help Hillywood live on.